In 2004, three key developers from LucasArts Games left the company after the unexpected cancellation of the new Sam & Max game, Freelance Police. Eager to continue making the kinds of story-driven games that LucasArts was leaving behind, longtime collaborators Kevin Bruner, Dan Connors, and Troy Melander broke away from the studio, and in June 2004 announced their new company to the world, Telltale Games. Their mission was clear: revive narrative-driven adventure games and produce them quickly and efficiently, built on a digital episodic model, something completely unheard of for the early 2000s. And over the years, Telltale would achieve moderate success, releasing 3 Sam & Max sequels, 4 CSI games, and an ambitious but technically buggy Back to the Future adaptation. But their first real smash hit, and arguably the true start of their acclaimed legacy, arrived in 2012, when Telltale released a game based on a massively popular and rapidly expanding IP with a wealth of sharp writing to draw from. What they created was an episodic, choice-based survival horror experience built entirely around emotionally charged decision-making. It presented players with moral dilemmas that didn't have easy answers, introduced heartbreaking and genuinely lovable characters, and ultimately became one of the most impactful, story-driven adventure games of all time. So today, we'll be dissecting the modest makings of The Walking Dead Season 1. Episode 1 opens immediately on our lead protagonist, Lee Everett. We meet Lee Everett on easily one of the worst days of his life. You see, Lee is in the back of this cop car because he is going to jail for a very, very long time for a crime that he committed, of which we don't know the exact details yet. But, lucky for him, the world is ending today, so no jail time. Also, I got a throat infection after recording literally one line for this video, and I'm being so brave about it. I've been wanting to finish this video, but my voice has been so jacked, so I am just going to power through because the ultimate truth is I want to talk about this game so fucking badly, y'all. I want to talk about this game so badly, not only because I've been sitting on my 2 playthroughs of this first game, but now I just finished the second game, which was fucking wild, and I'm about to jump into the third one, which I've heard mixed things about, so we're just going to get through this. So my voice might be all over the place for this video, but we'll make it through together, I promise. Unlike this officer who is the first casualty of this game, believe it or not, we're going to see a lot of casualties in this game. The first big similarity between this game and the TV show that I noticed is there's a lot of expendable characters, and they make that known pretty much right away. So an obstruction flips the cop car and Lee wakes up, the officer is dead, and Lee has to find his way out. The way the mechanics work in this game are antiquated, and y'all, I struggled with this in the beginning because you have to use your right stick not only to move the camera around, but also to find on-screen UI that you can interact with, including doing things like using it for aiming a gun, and you can't invert the Y control on this. And I am a lifelong Y inverted camera control guy. It comes from having camera brain, because shooting things with a camera, when you tilt the back of it down, the face of the camera goes up, if that makes sense. So having to use up for up and down for down on the R stick this entire game, there was a bit of a learning curve. You may see some footage at some point in this game where I just keep fucking up shooting because I kept going down instead of up and up instead of down. This game is from 2012 and it shows. This is one of the oldest games that I've played in a long time. The second thing that's really antiquated about this game's mechanics are forced perspective. Just like early Quantic Dream games, you don't get to choose the camera angle, so you just have to walk from this edge of frame to that edge of frame trying to figure out how to force the next camera angle. This can be really, really annoying. I also find it really weird that you have a combination of the forced camera angles as well as using your right stick to move the edges of the frame around. It's a really weird combo where you got to use your left and right stick to try and move around within a forced frame. Wasn't the most pleasurable gaming experience, but I got used to it quickly enough. Lee gets himself uncuffed just in time to be attacked by the police officer who he thought was dead, but somehow he's alive. Lee kills the officer and decides to get the fuck out of there because there's other dead people walking around. The dead are walking. This is a game about zombies. I'm sorry, I didn't know like a cool way to introduce that or say that. You know what you were here for. It's a game about zombies. Lots of them are going to be in this game. Lots of them are going to die. We're going to have to kill lots of them. But Lee doesn't know that yet. So Lee makes his way through the forest until he finally finds a house. And this is where things really start to set in for him. That shit is not normal. Everything is abandoned. Nobody is around. He calls out, but gets no answers.
Anybody up there? I'd fill one of those teacups with some bourbon if I could.
I love how he said that in such a weirdly jolly way. It is so against mood. Boy, what I wouldn't give to just sit back and have a nice relaxing drink if I wasn't in a post-apocalyptic zombie world. So he goes inside this house and he doesn't find anybody, but he does find an answering machine. And this is when we start to get a couple clues about what went down with the people who live in this house.
Oh my God, finally. I don't know if you tried to reach us. All the calls are getting dropped. They're not letting us leave and aren't telling us anything about Atlanta. Please, just leave the city and take Clementine with you back to Murrieta. I've got to get back to the hospital. Please let me know that you're safe.
Then Lee gets attacked by who we can presume was the babysitter for the child in this house, and he unfortunately has to kill her. He discovers his 2A radio and finds that there is a child on the other side, a child who is hiding in the treehouse.
Hello? Did they get you?
I'm sorry. I'm here.
I'm Clementine. This is my house.
Hi, Clementine. I'm Lee. How old are you?
8.
And you're all alone?
Yes. I don't know where anybody is.
Now, for somebody who'd never played these games and didn't really know anything about the game or its story, Clementine is a character that I have seen and heard a lot about, not just because of that one really messed up dude who did that stuff in her name, but she is an iconic character in her own right. To a lesser extent, I think I'd seen some visuals of Lee, but I already knew going into this game that Clementine would carry us throughout all 4 games. So when we do get introduced to her, it was not disappointing. Now, anyone who's stuck around my channel long enough knows that one of my big pet peeves is adults doing voices for children, because it's usually really poorly done and they just end up talking like this, and it makes me want to hurt somebody.
Hey everyone, secret's out. I'm just a kid.
But this game is a huge exception to the rule. Melissa Hutchison, who voices Clementine in all 4 games, is fantastic. Her portrayal of Clementine in this game was legitimately impressive to me because I went into it knowing that a 30-something or 40-something-year-old woman was playing the voice of a very, very, very small child. That gave me a little bit of hesitation, but boy, I was so happy to be proven wrong. She's really good at capturing that sense of innocence and that sort of painful, quiet understanding of a child coming to grips with the reality of the grim, tough world that they live in, and her connection with Lee, which we're going to see develop over the course of this game. Lee has zero hesitation about immediately trying to get to Clementine and protect her, which gives us an immediate indication of Lee's character. Yes, we know that he was going to jail for murder, but we also know that he does not hesitate to protect vulnerable people around him.
I don't know what happened, but I'll look after you until then.
So this, like other Telltale games, is a choice-based game, and this choice whether to leave in the day or wait until night actually has more effect than you would think, because if you leave in the day, then you will meet Chet and Sean, and if you leave at night, then your characters will meet Andre and Sean. Huge shout out to this Tumblr user who made these incredible graphics of how all the choices play out in all 5 episodes. We will be using this as a soft guide throughout this game, as there is also no official actions and consequences guide, something that the Life is Strange wiki has for each game. This is, however, also our first illusion of choice, because whether you go during the day or go during the night, you will be discovered by these two, and they will take you back to their family farm.
Thank God you're okay.
I was worried it'd be bad here, too.
Been quiet as usual the past couple days. Old Brecken down the way thinks his mare's gone lame, but that ain't nothing new. You've brought a couple guests.
We really appreciate it.
You're welcome to stay here, but just for the night. I don't run a bed and breakfast.
Fans of the TV show will recognize this character as Herschel Green and his family. This is their farm. Unfortunately, unlike in the TV show, we're not going to get nearly as much time with Herschel. And that is a little disappointing because even though I know a lot of people didn't love season 2 of the TV show, I thought it was decent enough, definitely slower than the first season, but I did really like the character of Herschel. Unfortunately, he's more of a footnote in this game. As I've already said, there's a lot of expendable characters in this game. Even for just the first season, we shuffled through a lot of people that come and go, which can sometimes make the game feel a little repetitive. I mean, this isn't even the only farm that they stay at in this game. They get found by people who invite them back to their farm here, and then also like the same thing happens later on in the game. It's just kind of weird that that happens twice. In the TV show, Herschel Green was something of a moral counterweight to Rick Grimes's sometimes more wanton ways, but that doesn't happen here at all. He isn't a moral counterweight to Lee because we also don't have any need for that, but I do wish they had given him a little more. Same with Glenn, who we're also going to see in a few minutes. But this is just me. I never read the comic books, but I did watch the first 8 seasons of the TV show. I won't lie, it's definitely not one of my favorite shows, but I do remember it clearly enough to know that I loved Glenn and I really liked Herschel.
House is full up with mine. We got another displaced family of 3 sleeping in the barn. You and your daughter are welcome to rest there when we're done here.
So in this choice-based game with branching dialogue, staying silent is a valid option, and that is backed up by the fact that at the start of the game, it says silence is a valid option. I did 2 playthroughs for this game, and in the first one, I decided overall to be very honest, which I did find, in a way, kind of gives you the best story. You sort of tend to get the best reactions out of people. There is a lot of value in this game to being honest, and especially not lying to Clem about the reality of the situations. In my second playthrough, I stayed silent for virtually every single interaction, and even though it doesn't overall change the story, which I wish it had, you do get a lot of unique interactions from constantly staying silent too.
Stuff like that doesn't happen around here, Sean.
Dad, I'm serious. Lee, come on. Tell him what you saw out there, man. Come on, tell him. Tell him!
How'd you get out of Atlanta? Well, I'm sure it was complicated. Where's your family now? Parents? Wife? Girlfriend? Fine. Keep your mouth shut. Rude as hell, but what's a man to do?
It smells like... duty.
Yeah, it does smell like duty.
So Lee and Clementine get some rest, and the next morning they meet this other family. Kenny, his wife Katja, and their son Ducky. This family is part of one of the more long-lasting character sets in this game. There is a lot of drama that's going to unfold with them. We'll get to it. But the first real bit of drama unfolds when Herschel's son gets attacked by zombies coming through the fence. Lee rushes to the scene and he has to decide whether to try and save Sean or try and save Ducky. No matter which choice the player makes, Kenny will choose to run away with his son rather than help Lee or Sean. This immediately establishes some mistrust with Kenny because we as players now have no reason to believe that he will be there for us when we need him, and that he may very likely choose his family over anyone else on any given day. Kenny is a dicey character and a very complicated one, and actually one of my favorite characters because he is complex, I'll put it that way.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Your son is alive. You don't get to be sorry. You tried to help him, but this piece of shit let him die.
If Kenny had helped, your son would be alive.
And that's why I wish you were dead for the rest of my life. Please, just go. Get out and never come back.
So the gang gets out and never comes back. They drive into the city where they go to a pharmacy that also just so happens to have been owned and operated by Lee's family. I find this to be a very intense coincidence because he didn't intentionally lead them there. It just seemed like they were going there anyways. I don't know. I found that weird. And inside the pharmacy, we meet a whole new cast of characters. There is Lily, her father Larry, Glenn, Carly, and Doug. I'd like to say that each of these characters has a distinct personality and I'm rooting for them for my own individual reasons, but at least a couple of them are immediately expendable and will not make it through this chapter. Maybe even more than a couple. So Larry doesn't want any of them there. He accuses Ducky of having a bite and almost throws him out. He accuses Carly of almost getting everybody killed, but he also has a heart condition, so his daughter is trying to keep him calm. This leads to a whole side mission where we have to get through the locked part of the pharmacy to get the meds for this total asshole. There's kind of a lot of gameplay in this part, and it's not exactly fascinating to watch. So to sum it up, Lee walks around. Through the context clues, we learn that this was his family's pharmacy. We see that his brother started working at the pharmacy. We understand that his parents hid out in a back part of the room, but eventually died. His brother is out on the street and has the keys. Lee has to kill his zombie brother to get that key. I feel like this moment is kind of just there and then it's gone. Doesn't really focus on it. Kind of wild considering Lee has to murder his estranged brother. I mean, is it murder if you're a zombie? I don't know. It's a philosophical question for another time, another game. As soon as they get through the pharmacy, the alarm goes off. This causes a bunch of zombies to start attacking the pharmacy. Pretty typical stuff for a zombie game. It leads to what I can only describe as a kerfuffle amongst the inhabitants of the pharmacy, and Lee must now choose whether to save Doug or Carly's life. This is one of the major choices in the game, and it is also another illusion of choice because, spoiler alert, whether you choose to save Carly or save Doug in this scene, whichever one you save, the other one will die before the end of this game. I did find that a little bit disappointing because really the only thing that changes here is like which character appears in the next couple scenes. In my first gameplay, I decided to save Carly because I know that she is great with a gun, she's the better shot, and in the second one I saved Doug for the sake of seeing both through, and was a little disappointed that there isn't a lot of variation here. Telltale is pretty good at the illusion of choice. I do like that compared to, let's say, the Life is Strange games, we do get a lot more of these moments in each episode. In each episode, we are given a few major moments that create different threads, even though the resolve at the end of the game does kind of tend to be the same. I would have found it a lot cooler if, let's say, choosing to save Carly would keep her alive throughout the entire game, which would change some scenes or maybe some of your character's actions, but not really. Our merry little gang retreats to a motel. Glenn decides that he's going to leave to try and find his family. We will never see him again. Also really disappointing because I really love Glenn and he does virtually nothing in this game. He's in it for about 10 minutes. Lee has a small conversation with Kenny where Kenny says that he has confidence in him and his ability to look after Clementine.
I think you know what you're doing.
Shit, man, do any of us?
With Clementine, I mean. Earlier, you said you were clueless. I just want you to know that I look at you and I see the type of guy who figures things out. That girl's gonna be just fine.
Thanks, Kenny.
This is a really nice moment from Kenny, actually. I've also seen observations online that people think Kenny's trust system is a little broken because throughout this game, characters have trust paths with you. Either Clementine will really trust you or she won't. That depends on how honest you are with him. With Kenny, it should depend on how much you agree or disagree with him. For example, whether or not you take his side about him failing to save Herschel's son. Unfortunately, it is a bit broken because Kenny will kind of always come back to trusting you, even when he shouldn't. That is a flaw in this game. I think Kenny's characterization works a little bit better in the second game. Him having a complicated dynamic with Clementine in season 2 built off their history works a little bit better than Lee and Kenny in this game, where no matter whether Lee agrees with Kenny, disagrees with Kenny, helps him or doesn't help him, Kenny always seems to come back around to being on his side. I do think that's a little inconsistent. Then Lee has a conversation with either Carly or Doug, depending on whichever you saved. Now, looking at my footage side by side, it's really weird that both of them are virtually given the same dialogue option. Both will say they can't stop thinking about the other person who died and that they secretly had a thing for them.
We couldn't save her, could we?
Couldn't have saved him, could we?
I don't think so. It happened pretty fast. I don't think so. It happened pretty fast.
I know it's stupid. We just met. And he was such a... It's just that... I think that I liked him.
I know it's stupid. We just met. It's dumb. But, I mean, it's probably just that survivor thing. I really liked her.
I am really not a big fan of choice-based games where choice A and choice B is the exact same line of dialogue, either just said by a different character or said in a slightly different manner. I want different options. It's really weird that Carly is thinking and feeling the exact same thing as Doug would be thinking and feeling the exact same thing, whether each one lives or dies. So, yeah, this is kind of my problem with the illusion of choice thing. I really wish that Carly and Doug were differently defined characters enough that they would have really different reactions to the other's death. You know what I'm saying? Clementine is being a bit overwhelmed by Ducky, who seems completely oblivious to the fucking apocalypse that they're in.
Oh man, check this out. The Doomatron had this minigun on his shoulder. It's all like pow, pow, pow. I thought Super Dinosaur was toast. But you know what? He wasn't.
So Lee alleviates her of that conversation and they have a bit of a heart-to-heart.
I'm sorry, there's not a lot of kids here.
No, it's not that. It's... I got grabbed again.
I was there, though.
I fell, and my walkie-talkie broke. Glenn had the other one. You probably think I'm dumb. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's how I used to talk to my mom and dad. And now they're gone. It's gone.
Maybe we can find you another one.
I'll just keep this one, I guess.
Lee, come here for a second.
Larry pulls Lee aside and tells him to stay away from his daughter, and then also threatens to out him as a convicted murderer. Yeah, there's this little thing where both Larry and Carly, who is also an investigative reporter, both know about Lee's past. This kind of doesn't go anywhere. You can choose to be outright and honest with the group and they will understand that, or you can choose to hide it from them, but then when they learn, it's not really a huge deal. This is something I also wish they had made a larger deal. Like, let's say if you hide the truth for long enough, one of the characters will eventually attack you or try to throw you out of the group or something like that. The whole idea of Lee being a convicted killer and then having to choose whether or not to hide that from the group in a world full of nothing but people being killed or being killers. I do wish they had gone a little bit further with this. Larry's threat is a little bit shallow. But despite that drama, the gang decides to stay at the motel for the time being, thinking they're going to be safe, and then all the lights go out. Something I noticed throughout all 5 episodes is that when you look at the choices at the end of each episode, almost every choice is 50-50. There isn't a big consensus on either. Did you lie to Herschel? 54% of players did. Did you choose Doug or Carly? 48% of players chose Carly. Did you side with Kenny? 54% defended Kenny. It's pretty split down the middle. At first, this kind of took me aback because it kind of made me think, well, it sort of seems like there isn't a meaningful side to either choice sometimes, which is why it's so 50-50. That doesn't really bode well for a choice-based game. However, thinking about it a little bit more, I actually think it speaks to the difficult messiness of each choice and how one doesn't seem obviously right. Do you save Doug or Carly? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to like one more. I don't know if one is going to be more helpful down the line, so you're pretty split. Do you side with Kenny? Well, you don't know whether to trust Kenny or not, so it's not exactly a clear decision. I actually do like this. I do think these stats tend to prove more than not that the choices are difficult and murky and not exactly obvious. Comparing that to something like Life is Strange, there are sometimes such frivolous and arbitrary choices that it makes sense. It's a very no-duh moment. Oh, does Chloe share her headphones with Rachel or not? It's like, I don't know. Do you like fun or do you not like having fun? Episode 2 picks up 3 months later after the events of Episode 1 and shows us Lee and a new survivor walking in the woods together. Who is this guy? I wish I could tell you he's a memorable character, but I had to look up his name for this very voiceover right now. And his name is Mark. He is a survivor that they picked up somewhere along the way, and that's literally all I can tell you about him off the top of my head. Like many zombie IPs, there is always going to be a bunch of expendable characters, and unfortunately the Telltale games are not free from that cliche of having expendable characters who also don't have strong personalities. There are some expendable characters who have strong personalities in this game. This guy isn't one of them.
I wish I knew for sure how much food we have left. That much, huh? Does Kenny know?
I don't know.
You think Kenny's having any more luck than we are out here?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, between the lack of food and Kenny and Lily fighting all the time, things are getting pretty tense back at the motor inn.
They hear some noise and they come across a group of teenagers, one of whom is caught in a bear trap. Then some zombies are coming, so Lee is forced to make a tough choice. Does he try to pry open the bear trap, which is time consuming, or does he chop the guy's leg off? I chopped the guy's leg off in both of my playthroughs, apparently. I always try to do something different in each playthrough for the whole sake of, 2 playthroughs for a choice-based game. But I don't always consult my first playthrough when I do my second, so I guess I just really didn't feel like wasting my time trying to get this thing open. I took this guy's fucking leg off 100% of the time.
Oh God! Shit. Is he?
He passed out.
They didn't even tie up his leg first. That's fucking wild. I don't know what they thought was gonna happen here. Spoiler alert, the guy dies 2 minutes later. Katja is also not happy with the fact that he brought him back to camp because they have enough going on, and the idea of them bringing back a clearly dying guy that they can't save, this one just doesn't really go over well with people. So they bring back the guy whose leg they just chopped off, as well as this guy, Ben. This is Ben. Everybody meet Ben. Everybody hates Ben. Everyone has good reasons to hate Ben. We'll get there.
Come on, Lily. These are people. People trying to survive just like us. We've got to stick together to survive.
The only reason you're here is because you had food.
Enough for all of us. But that food is almost gone. We've got maybe a week's worth left. And I don't suppose you guys are carrying any groceries, are you?
No. Fine, you guys fight it out then. Welcome to the family, kid.
So things are kind of starting to reach a boiling point for everybody, including Lily, who is their leader. She gets pissed with people criticizing the fact that she has to constantly make hard choices. So she decides to give Lee a hard choice by giving him food for 4 people over 10 hungry mouths. So you, the player, have to decide which 4 people to feed. This will definitely have some consequences, especially in regards to whether or not you feed Clementine and Duck, who are the children, because people are going to have some opinions about whether you choose to feed yourself over them or somebody like Larry because you're just trying to get on his good side. So choose carefully. So in my first playthrough, I chose to feed Ducky, Clementine, Lily, and Larry.
I should shove this up your ass, but I'm too hungry.
You're welcome, Larry. I don't know why the hell I tried to get on this guy's good side. Which led to Kenny praising me for putting the children first, and Carly saying this when Lily talks to Lee about the choices that he made.
Not such an easy job, is it?
It's okay. I know you're still watching out for me.
I don't envy you. I don't know how you have the strength to do this every day.
I don't have a choice.
Now, if you saved Doug in episode 1 and you offer him food here, he will decline it, saying that he thinks you deserve it more. And then Larry will step in and tell you that if you're not going to give it to him, you should give it to him.
Hey, if Doughboy doesn't want his food, hand it this way.
It doesn't work like that. I'll decide who gets the food.
I'll decide smart. You don't really want to piss me off, do you?
And he's a real dick about it. So good to know that no matter what, in all versions of all timelines, Larry is an asshole through and through. And that's good characterization, baby. A couple of strangers show up and say that they have some goods that they want to trade. So without questioning it much, some members of the gang decide to just go along with it and follow them to a second location. That wouldn't even be a good idea if it wasn't an apocalypse, but you know, whatever. So they follow them and they go to St. John Dairy Farm, which is the second farm of this game. If you recall, I said that there was not 1 but 2 farms in this game. Yeah, I do think it's really weird that like episode 1 has them on a farm when some kind people take them in, and then episode 2 has them on a farm when some kind people take them in. Except this time, they invite them to stay. They tell them they can have all kinds of resources to trade, and they can even stay for dinner, and people are starving, so they're pretty happy about that. These people seem like nice, normal people. I bet they will stay nice, normal people for the entirety of this game. Hi, my name is Kyle. I've never seen a zombie movie before.
I'm Brenda St. John, and welcome to the St. John Dairy.
This here's Lee. You never did say where you're from.
You were right. I'm a local boy.
They got a few more friends staying at the old motel.
Oh my goodness, that place is pretty vulnerable. Have you got someone with survival experience to lead your group?
I've got things under control over there.
Well, I hope you know what you're doing. That place isn't safe like it is here. Now that y'all are here, we'll make sure you're safe and comfortable.
They ask Lee and the other dude to secure the perimeter, where they are promptly attacked by bandits and must run away. When they get back to the farmland, they confront these farmers about these people attacking them, and they immediately admit that they've had this whole thing going on with bandits for a while over some broken deal. So yeah, things are going great on the second farm so far.
Food for protection. Not like we had much of a choice, but they did stop hassling us.
Christ, maybe you were right about this place, Lee.
Jesus, Lee, say something.
Okay, but I was told by the manager that staying silent was a valid option. So Lee and one of the brothers go to where they know the bandits have been camping out, where they find some of the supplies, and then this woman drops out of nowhere and draws a crossbow on them. She talks about how she also had a raw deal with the bandits and that they abused her and her daughter, who she separated from. And it's at this point in the episode that I'm starting to think, is this supposed to be Clementine's mother? But of course, that doesn't really make any sense. It's just because Lee also finds Clementine's hat in the tent along with a kid's teddy bear. It's a like a character's side story that kind of doesn't work because it's a little too similar to the A plot, because then you're going to try and connect these two things like I did. And then when it turns out they're not connected at all, they're just weirdly similar, it's a little confusing. Now, you can choose to shoot this woman or not shoot this woman, but if you don't shoot her, then the brother will. Kind of another big red flag here. We've known these people like 10 minutes and they've already hidden the fact that they have some ongoing fight with people that they were also giving supplies to. Not mention the fact that there's also third parties who have fucked up deals with the bandits. And then this woman pulls a gun on Lee and the guy from the farm. So you kind of gotta wonder what her motives might have been. It's hard to trust anybody in an apocalypse, but I really feel like it's made so cartoonishly obvious that you're not supposed to trust any of the people on this farm. And yet you do for the almost majority of this episode. And I do kind of feel no matter which choices you make, the signs are all there. You still get lied to. You still have information omitted. You still see that there are other people who are actively trying to kill them and that they are 100% willing to kill them back. So again, if this were the TV show, I would be judging the leader of this group for being such a bad leader, the way that Rick Grimes also seesawed back and forth between being a great leader and being dog shit. But Lee is not the leader of this group, and Lily's not really a leader. This group is a little bit less traditional than the way you've seen those zombie apocalyptic survival groups like Rick Grimes, who becomes the de facto leader and eventually learns how to fit into the role. We play as Lee. Lee is not that kind of guy, especially because you can choose to be fucking silent the whole game, which would make you a terrible leader. The ma on the farm tells Lee not to worry about the bandits, and I guess for the moment he doesn't. And then she tells him that dinner will be ready soon. Yum, yum, yum. Dinner time. Free dinner on the farm. How could that go wrong? Lee checks out the barn where Katja, who is a vet, is tending to a pregnant cow. Lee finds a back door that is locked, something that Kenny has noticed too, and Kenny convinces Lee they need to get it open. So you are tasked with creating a distraction that keeps the family out of the barn long enough for you to unscrew every one of these individual screws. So that you can so that you can open this barn door. When you open the barn door, you see a bunch of bloody, recently used tools. And then you get interrupted by the one dude. Red flag? ? Who knows? Certainly not me.
Dinner time. You know, you're a strange guy, Lee.
I forgot how funny some of the results are when you're quiet all the time, because sometimes you're really inappropriately or bizarrely quiet. Like you basically just found a slaughterhouse in the farm and the guy's like testing your reaction and you just like flick your ears like a dog. Yes, strange guy indeed.
Oh,
Excuse
boy.
us, we had to block the back door after Walker got upstairs.
Nothing suspicious there. My mind is free of thoughts on that.
Oh, this is a delight.
I could eat a horse. Where's Mark?
More like who's Mark, am I right? Yeah, no, it's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Mark. Yeah. So Lee has to go find Mark, our good friend who we know all kinds of things about. And wouldn't you know it, he's not resting. He's hidden in a secret room where they have been chopping off his limbs to make food. The food is people. The food is people. And now comes one of the crazier choices you have to make in this game. Do you allow some of your group to eat some of Mark? Do you just knowingly let Clementine eat human flesh?
Sit down. Your supper's getting cold.
Oh, sit your ass down, Lee. This lady has made you a meal.
Yeah, Lee, what's gotten into you?
The first time I freaked out and I was like, no, everyone get away from it. And the second time I was like, today I chose the drama and I let Larry and Clementine eat some. I'm obviously doing a great job of raising her.
Lee, what the hell is wrong with you?
Don't indulge him, Lily. There's always something with this guy.
Mom, I was eating that.
What is going on?
Everything could have turned out okay for you folks.
By the shock on your face, Lee, it looks as if you've been upstairs.
Oh, this is a great time to bring up a long-running issue with the Walking Dead Definitive Edition. My first playthrough was the original game release Season 1, and then after that I bought the Definitive Edition, which has all 4 seasons, and my second playthrough is the remaster with the nicer graphical colors. But I have noticed that the dialogue for characters is always just a little bit clipped, cut off at the beginning. When you listen to people saying stuff, the first syllable of the first word is always cut off.
He would have died anyway. Well, I'll do what it takes to keep everyone safe.
We're already safe.
Ben found some stickers in a drawer.
Do it!
I have no idea why that is, but I've also been playing Season 2, and it's been happening in Season 2, and it's been quietly driving me mad. I haven't seen anything about it online, but you tell me if you've noticed it. I mean, hopefully the supercut that I showed you proved it, or else I'm hearing things. Or I'm not hearing things.
He's going anywhere.
We got lots of use for y'all right here.
What the fucking what?
Put your guns down! We're walking out of
Don't go
here!
near my fucking family.
I don't want to die. Mommy, what did I eat?
Even in my nice run through, I let Ducky eat it. No. No, Ducky. I was so focused on racing Clementine, I totally forgot to do anything for the other child. Parent of the year.
Please. Someone.
Open the goddamn door! You can't keep us in here!
So our unmarried little group is now locked in a freezer. Clementine will have different reactions depending on whether or not she ate human meat.
It was a person. They tried to make us eat a person.
But you didn't do it.
No.
The rest of us did, goddammit!
I ate meat from a person. Does that mean I'm gonna turn into...
No, Clem, it doesn't work like that.
Larry will start freaking out trying to find a way out, which makes his heart act up, and he starts having what we can only assume is a heart attack. Kenny astutely observes that if he's dying, they are going to have to destroy his brain, otherwise he will come back as a zombie. So players are tasked with choosing whether to immediately agree with Kenny or to try and help Lily save her father. If you try to help Lily, Kenny will come in with a salt lick and bash his head in. And if you take no action, Kenny will be very frustrated by your indecision and do it anyways. So, not much variation on the choice for this one. I gotta say, I do like the branching and the choices in this game. But having played it twice, I do have some frustrations that there isn't enough variation sometimes. You would be hoping that if you tried to save Larry, then this ends up giving you a much different path with Lily, or also ends up giving you a much different path with Kenny versus if you agree with him. Either way, Kenny is going to bash his head in and will throughout the game still continue to put trust in you. This is another reason Kenny's trust system is broken. I think that if you don't agree with him here, because he is actually being very logical, it is a grim thing to bring up, but also time is of the essence, and they are trapped in a freezer with someone who is literally about to be a zombie. Kenny is totally in the right here. There should be consequences for you not trusting him. I would have really liked to have seen a version of this game where, let's say, there's 4 or 5 major decisions that you have to make with Kenny, and it comes down to some sort of, if 3 out of the 5 times you agree with him, then at the end of the game, you'll overall have a good standing with him, and he will do something in your favor. And if 3 out of the 5 times you disagree with him, Kenny will abandon you or turn against you or something like that. I do wish we had slightly more complex buildups of those things, as opposed to this version where it kind of just changes what happens in the scene, but doesn't necessarily change overall. I'm curious to see if this series gets better at it. I have just finished the second game. I haven't played the third or fourth, so I don't really know how this goes in the third or fourth, but I know there is a shit ton of criticism for the branching and the choices, or lack thereof, in season 2 of The Walking Dead, and we will be talking quite a lot about that when that video comes out, but we are still in this video, and in this video, we are at the part where they use Clementine to sneak through a vent and get them loose, and now it's time for retribution. Ah, the sweet, sweet uber violence, how I adore thee.
You see? You understand now, don't you? You can have me. It's how the world works now.
I really wasn't expecting the end of this guy's story to be, ah, now you're going to kill me. Amazing.
Eat me! Sauteed barbecue.
Credit due where it's due. This was a man of his principles. They said in the South, we don't waste any part of the meat, and he meant that, even when it comes to himself. That is a man of conviction, and you don't always see a lot of that in a post-apocalyptic world, so thanks, Danny. Goodbye.
No!
Fatality. Katja!
Now Lee has to run back to the house to save Katja and the rest, where Brenda is holding Katja at gunpoint. And she says, don't come too close. And if you come too close, she will kill her and you will fail. But if you very slowly approach while saying calm things to her, she will eventually back herself into the guy that's now a zombie. And he'll attack her. And then you can grab Katja and go. Seems like a fitting end to me, but back outside, Andy St. John is holding Ducky by gunpoint, and when Kenny gets too close, Kenny gets shot? Kenny gets shot? I don't remember that. Huh. If you kept Carly alive, then she will shoot him, but if Carly is dead, Doug will distract him with his laser pointer. Either way, the two of them tumble down towards the fence, and then Austin holds Lee's neck up against the electrocuted fence, and you have to fight back.
Lily!
The fight culminates with Andy basically telling you to kill him, and you can choose to shoot him in the head or spare his life. And if you spare his life, he'll get eaten by zombies anyways, so as far as I see it, a win-win. And then the gang gets the fuck out of there and back to the motel. The gang retreats into the woods, and Clementine asks you if the bad people are dead. And you can be honest and reassuring.
We didn't kill them, so I don't know. They might have been able to get away from the walkers, but I'm sure they won't be coming after us.
That's good.
Or you can kneel down and just stare at her menacingly, which I guess is also okay. Silence is a valid option, or so I've been told.
I'm glad we're still alive.
Hey, Dad, what's that noise?
Sounds like a car.
Oh God, not more strangers.
They stumble upon a seemingly working car with supplies and food in it, and I'm really surprised they don't think of doing anything with the car, like maybe using it to go somewhere, like back to the motel where they're about to go. I guess that's sort of just not the vibe of this part of the episode, because instead the conversation is, do they take the supplies, do they steal the food or not? Everyone has a whole discussion about it, and If you choose not to take the food, Clementine will be happy that you didn't because even she recognizes the wrongness of it. And if you do, then you'll find a sweater in her size and force her to wear it, and she will wear that sweater for the rest of the game. So going forward, if you see Clementine in this sweater, know that this is my second playthrough. The playthrough where I was characteristically silent and made as many bad choices as possible, like forcing ourselves to steal stuff and then making Clementine wear some of it. Father of the Year.
You know that camcorder? I got it working. You might want to see this.
Jake, Bart, Linda, and all y'all fucking sickos from the save lots. They call y'all bandits, but you're fucking rapist monsters. Oh, darling baby, look at you. Look at you. Oh, you need a mama, sweetheart.
Essentially, we learned that this woman who they killed back at her camp had a daughter that died, and she was planning to abduct Clementine to take her as her own. This would explain a little bit of the confusion with that overlap with thinking that maybe she was Clementine's mother. She wasn't, but she certainly wanted to be. Funny enough, this isn't the last time we're going to see a story play out a little bit like this. We'll get there when we get there, but that is episode 2.
Don't worry, little girl. Bandits got their eye on that dairy. As long as they keep getting food from them, you'll be safe. I promise.
Looks like this is our lucky day.
Yeah, this might actually go smoothly.
We deserve it after last time.
Episode 3 starts with Kenny and Lee returning to the pharmacy to swipe as many meds as they can find. A little repetitive, but whatever. In my opinion, it's one of the more frivolous scenes. I don't really think they needed to return here, but I do get why they wanted to start off with Kenny and Lee together so they can riff a little about the status of things, including Kenny's persistence about getting out of Macon and trying to head south.
I bet you're in the let's stay put camp, considering I've been pushing everyone to leave. Fine. I'll take that as a yes then. I swear, Lee, I'd be on my boat this goddamn minute if I didn't think splitting up was suicide.
A woman runs out into the street screaming to bloody hell, and you are presented with 2 options. Do you shoot her to put her out of her misery, or do you do nothing so that you can use her as a distraction to get into the pharmacy? If you shoot her, this will get all of the walkers' attention, and they'll come running at you, and then you'll have to run into the pharmacy, and then you will have a very limited time to get as many supplies as you can before you gotta bolt out of there. If you did nothing and let the woman die, then you can peacefully sneak into the pharmacy where you are given more time on the meter to collect supplies. In my first playthrough, when I shot her, I was only able to collect 9 items, and the game said, your backpack has a few supplies. In my second playthrough where I let her die, I was able to collect 14 items. And the difference in these choices is reflected in Lily's reaction back at the motel.
So, what did you get?
Just what was left.
Maybe could have got more. Half of it's probably expired.
This it?
Yeah, well, we've been picking Macon clean for weeks.
Fuck. What did you get?
Lee must have thumped his head out there or something. We got lots. Take a look.
Nice work. This'll keep us going. If we carry on like this, we'll get through the winter here.
The winter? We'll freeze our asses off here.
Because piling into an RV with you after what you did to my dad is so appealing.
Why wouldn't it be?
So, as you can see, tensions are running pretty high at the motel. Something of a power struggle has developed between Kenny and Lily, mostly over whether to stay at the motel or to leave. Kenny is staunchly in the camp of we need to leave, it's not safe here. Lily understands it's not entirely safe, but doesn't think it's the right time to move.
It's not going to be easier out on the road!
How would you know?
What I know? I know you're not above murder. I know somebody has been stealing our supplies. That's right, stealing! And I know the list of people I can trust here gets smaller every day! Now everybody get out!
This is a tension that has been rising for some time, and it's especially making Lily stressed.
There's a traitor. Somebody, one of us, out there. He or she or they have been taking things. So you don't believe me? Look. Counts off and it's the good stuff. Antibiotics, oxy, fuck, anything with opium in it.
I see the count, and it's fine.
I keep my own. That one's getting messed with. I'm a fucking mess right now, but I'm not stupid.
It's very important to note Lily's choice of language in this scene, because she says that she keeps her own. That can be interpreted as she keeps her own count, so that if the count is off, she'll know. Like she hides the specific amount of meds and she knows the true count versus the public count. That is one possibility. That is an interpretation. And the second is that she is keeping her own personal supply of meds and opioids as a very unhealthy way to cope with her father's untimely demise at the hands of Mr. Let's get in the RV and get the fuck out of here. Which I wouldn't be surprised. You know, not only dealing with the fucked up father of her death, but also the fact that Kenny bashed his head in with a salt lick. People have speculated online whether or not Lily was using these meds, and if these were anti-anxiety meds and opioids or anything with any kind of upper, this would actually give even more depth to her constantly being on edge and anxious, because she might be getting fucked up from these drugs or / going through little withdrawals when she doesn't have any. Either way, Lee agrees to help, and when he leaves the room, Ducky has overheard the whole thing and wants to help out. Thank you, little Ducky. You really shouldn't have listened into the grown-ups conversation. Nobody wants to include you in this shit. But, you know, regardless, Lee reluctantly agrees to let him help. He tells him to look out for anything suspicious or if he sees anything suspicious. In the meantime, Lee now has to basically soft interrogate everybody, but it's like a one-sided secret interrogation thing where they don't know that he's trying to fish for information of who the fuck is doing this. This also gives Lee an opportunity to unnecessarily stir the pot, both by telling Katja that he's a convicted murderer, and when Katja asks what really happened in the freezer, you can just flat out tell her the truth, and judging by her reaction, you can surmise that she was suspecting it, but she's horrified to learn nonetheless.
What did he do?
He smashed his head in. Katja.
Everything keeps changing.
Lee can actually tell everybody about his conviction in this scene. I don't know why he's choosing this time, but you can choose to do that. You can choose to tell some people. You can choose to hide all of it. In my first playthrough, again, the one where I was trying to be as honest as possible, I told everybody, and that went like this.
I killed someone. Different than Larry or the St. John's. Different from everything. This was before the Walkers.
A citizen?
Yes. I know. I didn't say anything when I met you because I was with the girl and, you know, I was worried.
Is Duck safe around you?
Of course.
Good. But you should know, if we gotta make numbers when it comes to a boat, this is gonna matter.
The day you and I met, I was in a car accident.
I remember. Your leg was bleeding.
The car I was in was a police car, and I was on my way to jail for committing a crime. I need to tell you now, because I don't want you to hear it any other way.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say?
I don't think so.
You can go on back to your things. I'm a convicted murderer.
Whoa, seriously?
Why would I joke about that?
I don't know. Wow.
You're part of this group and you should know.
I've never met a murderer before. Well, I hadn't, I mean.
I know what you meant.
Thanks for trusting me, man. Ben.
Relax.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, Lee may or may not come to regret that trust. Ben! Since a flashlight was found broken, presumably to do this med stealing, you, the player, can ask Clementine about it and she'll say no, that it wasn't her, and no, that it wasn't Duck, and then she says possibly one of the funniest things in this game.
I don't think so. He's just always blaming me for stuff.
Like what?
Putting a bug on his pillow?
Did you do that?
Yes.
That devilish little smirk after. I think my top Clementine lines are this, and then this one back at the farm.
What's this thing?
Daddy said it's called a salt lick.
Yeah, but don't lick it. It's gross.
Did you lick it?
I don't know.
I've also seen a clip from season 4 that there is a throwback to this, which is lovely.
Whatever you do, don't lick it. It tastes horrible.
Wait a minute, how do you know? Did you lick it?
I don't know. Go ahead, lick it if you want to.
Gross. It tastes nasty.
Well, now you know.
Asking around more about the flashlight, Ben will tell you that it's been quiet and he hasn't seen anything, and Katja will tell you that she saw broken glass over by the corner of the motel. Lee goes there and sees that somebody has drawn an X in pink chalk. Whoever broke the flashlight also made this X, very probably. So then Lee has to ask everybody about the pink chalk. It's a real detective episode. A lot of going from A to B and asking questions, then A to B and like asking slightly different questions. Clementine will say that her pink chalk has gone missing, and then Ducky tells you that he found the pink chalk out near the fence. Now when you get out near the fence, Ducky will ask to give you a high five, and if you give him a high five, Duck thinks you are incredibly awesome. That's probably my favorite decision choice screen text. You know, forget Kenny will remember that, or Clementine saw what you did. Give me a Duck thinks you're incredibly awesome. I need more of these. Clementine thinks you're a total badass. Kenny thinks you're more manly than him. Ben thinks very little. Need more of those. So when you look outside the gate, you will see a vent that you will open, and that is where Lee discovers meds. Somebody from inside the motel has been packaging supplies and then leaving them in a designated spot for these bandits to find. So somebody has definitely made some kind of an inside deal with the bandits. So Lee rushes back to Lily and tells her that she was right and he found the meds, and she's immediately like, we should interrogate everybody and string up the person who did this. It's the only way. But then, thankfully, to break up that awkward conversation, the bandits actually arrive, and you end up having to have this big, long shootout with the bandits. Now, this isn't a combat game, but scenes where you have to aim your rifle and kill a bunch of people in succession is pretty fun. Pretty fun in this game. Again, I struggle with it minorly here and there because I'm used to an inverted vertical stick, so sometimes I died when I didn't necessarily need to, but that's okay. It wasn't that hard, and this now forces everybody to get in the RV and get the fuck out of there. So, in a messed up way, Kenny really got what he wanted. And that is the saga of the motel.
Cat, Jesus, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm sorry.
Calm down. We need to figure out why this happened.
Nobody died. We're okay, right? Katja, you're okay?
We just lost everything.
But we have our health.
Pat's head is split open.
I'm fine.
Somebody in here caused this.
So Lily immediately brings up the stolen meds and starts pointing fingers. If Doug is alive, first she will accuse Ben, and he will vehemently deny it. If Carly is alive, Lily will accuse Carly, and she will deny it.
Please, we have to get it out of you then. Back off. You're in no position to make demands. Whoa, 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 you're just pointing fingers. I didn't just come up with this. I've had my suspicions.
Why her? It seems like a stab in the dark, Lily.
She's always so eager to see what supplies we found.
No matter what, you don't get to the bottom of it right there, because then Kenny hits a walker and they have to stop.
All right, well, we can deal with this now then.
Lily uses the situation to try and oust the accused member. Things get extremely heated, and if Doug is alive, Lily will snap and kill him. If Carly is alive, Lily will snap and kill her. Either way, Lee will hold her up against the RV, and then players have to choose whether to tell her to get back on the RV or whether to leave her.
We're leaving this crazy bitch!
She couldn't be trusted, Lee. I swear. Please.
You're not coming with us.
I'll die out here.
I don't care.
If you choose to leave her, everyone will get back in the RV. She'll be left behind with a herd of walkers coming towards her, and we will never see her again. If you chose to bring her in the RV, Lee will tie her up, and then Katya and Kenny will ask Lee to the front, where they reveal that Duck has been bitten.
What the fuck?
Happened during the raid.
We know it's shocking. Please try and keep Ben and Clementine calm. I'm going to keep an eye on him and see what I can do from a medical perspective.
We keep the same plan unless something changes.
They ask you not to overreact, but they do want you to tell Clementine. So when you do talk to Clementine, you can either choose to be an asshole and be silent the entire time.
What about Doug? I really don't feel good.
Or you can do your best to comfort her, and you can even have a really sweet moment where Lee opens up about his family.
I miss my parents.
Me too.
I know. My mom played the tuba.
Really?
She was a really small lady. It was strange. This one time my brother thought it would be funny to fill a tuba full of flour on April Fool's Day. And that same day, she thought it'd be funny to wake me up for school by playing it right in my face.
What happened?
Just about what you'd expect.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know why I remembered that.
What happened? Holy shit! Get off of me!
We got something up ahead.
The gang happens upon a train. They explore the train and find that somebody has clearly been living there. They also find a map that reveals the train is apparently going to the coast, which is where they want to be. When Kenny sees this, he's very excited and declares that they must get the train going. So now you, the player, are tasked with finding things that get the train going. It is a really long bit of gameplay, so I'm just going to graze all over that. Lee has to find a pencil, so he goes back into the RV where Lily is, and Lily declares that she is leaving. Now, you can tell her to go, you can tell her to stop right there, or you can say that you'll go with her. For the sake of drama in this gameplay, I chose to go with her, and this is what happened.
Okay.
Okay. Seriously.
Yes.
Get Clementine.
I'll get her and come right back.
Holy shit! She's stealing the RV! Come back here, you crazy bitch! Fuck! Stop!
The way this whole thing plays out with Lily, I think is one of the best branching examples, because also, if you leave her back on the road, none of this happens at all. So this is something that only happens if you chose to keep her in the RV, and then there's like 3 different ways that this can go. I thought this was really cool getting this on my second playthrough, because in my first, I left her on the road, and in my second, I had no idea that she'd asked me to go with her, and then I had no idea that it was just a ruse, and that she would steal the RV for herself. That old so-and-so. They managed to get the train started, but they need to uncouple one of the back carts. And once Lee does that, he runs into Chuck. Chuck is a congenial older man who has been living on the train and genuinely means them no harm. He's already introduced himself to the rest of the group, given them candy, and played them some guitar. Honestly, lovely. The gang heads out on the train, but then Katya asks Lee to go and tell Kenny to stop the train because they have reached an end with what they can do for Ducky, and now they're going to have to do something about it. You are tasked with talking to Kenny and trying to get him to stop the train, and depending on how you handle this, you will either get into a full-blown fist fight,
Just leave me the fuck alone! You don't even have a child! You don't know what this is like! I fucking hate you, Lee. Do you hear me? I don't know what to do.
or if you say all the right things, you can get Kenny to come to his senses and stop the train.
You didn't kill Herschel's son.
Yes, I did. And now it's catching up to me.
That's not what went down. You looked out for your kid, and a bad thing happened to someone else's. And I'm sorry I said otherwise.
There ain't no way this world lets my son live when I help put someone else's in the ground.
That's not the way it works. You know that. Stop the train, man.
Once you've pulled over, Katya and Kenny will talk about the fact that somebody is going to have to shoot Ducky, and that Kenny is basically not able to handle it. So Katya offers to take him into the woods and do it herself. Lee talks with Clementine about what is happening.
What is Katya doing?
She's killing him.
For good?
Yes, so he doesn't come back. Look, Clem, things are...
We hear a gunshot, and Kenny and Lee go to investigate, where they find this.
Cat! Katya!
And if this isn't already the absolute worst day of Kenny's life, they see that Ducky has turned. And now, players are tasked with either having Lee kill Ducky or making Kenny do it.
Give me the gun, kid. I'll do it.
This is one of the craziest scenes in the whole game, and it is truly devastating. Say what you will about Kenny, I'm sure people have somewhat mixed feelings, but you really sympathize with him here, which is why I'm also thankful in my first playthrough I was able to get him to amicably talk Kenny down into stopping the train instead of getting into a fist fight with him, especially knowing what's coming, knowing what I know now, you know?
Do it!
Back on the train, Chuck tells Lee that he needs to start thinking more about Clementine and her safety, so he teaches Clementine to shoot, and then he cuts her hair. Lee then passes by Ben, who's looking all upset and moody, and you're probably wondering, why are you so moody, Ben? I mean, I know there's a lot of shit going on, but why you in particular? Why now? And it's because of this.
I was the one giving the bandits supplies.
I could kill you.
I...
Nobody can see us. I could toss you over right now and be done with it.
No! Lee, please!
Why shouldn't I?
They said they had my friend! I didn't know what to do! Lee, please! I had to tell someone.
I bet you did.
Yeah, remember when I said everybody hates Ben? Everybody hates Ben for good reason. Ben is just, he never really contributes as a member of the group. He steals your supplies and gives them to somebody else. He lets somebody else essentially take the fall for him because at the end of the day, it's Lily who gets left behind, not him. And then he just flat out admits it to Lee. One thing I dislike about this scene is that you can't throw him off the train right here and right now. The first time that I played the game, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, so this was somewhat surprising to hear. Son of a bitch, I vouched for this guy. The second time, I was like, great, I'm gonna throw this fucker off the train right now when he admits it. But you can't. Not to worry though, his time will come. Lee and Clementine talk about their plans when they get to their destination. Clementine is set on finding her parents at the hotel that she knows they were at last when the outbreak happened. They have to stop the train because there is a giant tank in the way. This is where they also meet Omid and Krista. I wish I could say that Omid and Krista are really specific personalities who I am rooting for my individual reasons, but I can't. They are also a little bit of cannon fodder, although they do make it through the entire game, I'll say that much. Omid is overly pleasant, kind of, and Krista is the right amount of cautious. Nonetheless, they agree to come together as part of the group if they can help move this tank out of the way. Lee and Omid find a blowtorch that they use to remove the tank just in time for a herd of walkers to show up. So Lee and Omid have to jump from the top of this thing onto the moving train. Omid injures his leg in the process, but they all get away. Lee enjoys a very small moment of calm watching Clementine rest and reflecting on her drawing of Kenny and his family, now thinking about how 2 out of the 3 members are gone. Kenny joins Lee where they suddenly hear Clementine's supposedly dead walkie-talkie go off, and then they hear this guy.
Can't wait for you to get to Savannah, Clementine. I got your parents right here, and you be sure to find me whether Lee wants you to or not. Now, what I need...
Holy shit.
I thought that fucking thing was broken.
So did I. Who the fuck was that? If he's convinced Clementine that he has her parents...
Y'all might want to rethink your plan.
Our group of survivors are officially in Savannah. So far it seems pretty empty, but Omid's leg is still very badly injured, so they need to find a place quick. And then just as they're talking about it, a church bell goes off. They have a conversation about how it's weird that one would go off at such a random time, and then the walkie goes off again. So whoever is on the end of this walkie is either helping them or hurting them. They seem to be helping them by telling them to get out of the way because the church bell, as it turns out, signals the walkers. And remember from episode 3, this person also claims that they not only know Clementine's parents, but are actively with them. So we have no idea who this person is or what their motives are, but that doesn't really matter right now because in the meantime, they need to run. They need to run the fuck out of there. They find an empty house that looks suitable, but they can't get in. But then they notice that there's a doggy door that works electronically with the dog's collar. They also see that there is a dog buried in the backyard. So the player, as Lee, must do the quite grim deed of digging up the dog to find its collar to open the door. There's also a tiny bit of conversation with them wondering whether or not the dog itself might be a walker, but thankfully it isn't. As far as I know, in this series, animals aren't walkers. It's exclusive to humans. Thank God. The house, as far as they can tell, is secure for now, but Krista's not done asking questions about who the mysterious person on this walkie-talkie is, and rightly so. I'd be freaked the fuck out.
It's just a friend. I don't think he wants to hurt us.
What has he been saying to you? What have you been saying to him?
I told him I was trying to find my parents and that they were in Savannah. He really seems nice. I think he wants to help me find them.
Clementine, honey, trust me, that's not what he wants.
Lee? Lee, you need to get up here now.
Then Ben says they need to go upstairs because Kenny went up to the attic, but he hasn't come back, and apparently he made a weird sound or something. Lee goes up there to find that a child walker is up there.
Oh my God.
Kinda looks like Duck, don't he?
This is honestly one of the most devastating moments from this game. Not just because we're seeing a child who is a walker, but knowing that what happened was at some point this child was abandoned, and then in their attempt to survive, they starved to death upstairs in this attic. You can see that this child walker is emaciated, and it is devastating, especially for Kenny, who just lost his son under very similar circumstances. Players are now given the choice whether or not to make Kenny do it or to do it yourself. If you make Kenny do it, he'll say that he doesn't have the strength, but Lee will encourage him to do it.
I know that you can. You were strong for Duck. You can be strong again now. Do what's right for him. Send him on his way.
We should bury him.
I'll take care of it.
And if you, the player, decide to do it, you're actually given several options for method of ending this child walker's life. For some reason, I chose to crush it in with my boot because I'm fucked in the head, I guess. I did not like watching this part, but now we've both seen it, so that's something.
I'm sorry.
We should bury him.
While burying the boy with his dog, Lee sees a mysterious figure looking at him, and then the figure runs away.
Who are you? What the hell do you want from us?
Lee, what's going on?
I saw someone standing there by the fence, watching us.
A walker?
No, too fast. Took off like a bat out of hell when I spotted him.
Lee tells the rest of the group about this guy, but there's nothing they can do for the moment. And Kenny says it's time to get out of here. He really, really wants to find a boat. He says that's the reason why they came, so they need to get on it. The group agrees that Lee and Kenny will go out to the docks, and everybody else will stay behind. Ben, in particular, is upset about this and calls Lee out for it.
So you're just gonna leave me on the bench here? Great. Just great. Thanks a lot for the vote of confidence.
I don't know why Ben is surprised, though, because Lee is the only person Ben has confided in that he basically got other members of the group killed. So as far as I'm concerned, at this point, Ben should just be quiet. Quiet and glad that he is lucky. Lee and Kenny go to the docks where they find that, surprise, surprise, they weren't the only people during this apocalypse that got the idea to hop on a boat and get the fuck out of there. The dock is completely destroyed. All of the boats are destroyed. The whole city's pretty much destroyed. This is not the haven or the saving grace they thought it would be. Of course it isn't. It never is. If there is one constant in zombie-related media, it's that there's always some magic mythical place they're trying to go to, and then they go there, and then it's not really a thing. But Kenny refuses to give up hope and insists that if they can find some kind of a battery, they can get some kind of a boat going. He tells Lee to look around, where Lee sees this horrific image of walkers on spikes creating a huge barrier at the end of the street. Then he looks through the telescope and sees a figure basically doing some serious Assassin's Creed style parkour there, which unfortunately you, the player, cannot do in this game. They decide to sneak up on this mysterious figure, but this figure, again, knows parkour, so they actually get the jump on them. This turns out to be Molly, a refugee from Crawford, a really fucked up place we're going to learn about right now.
You guys really aren't from Crawford, are you?
We're not from Crawford, promise.
What is that, anyway?
You sure you want to know? When everything started going to shit, some people got together and sealed off that whole neighborhood. Folks willing to do anything to stay alive, stop the dead getting in. I try to avoid them.
Why?
Let's just say they have a zero-tolerance policy for anyone who won't, or can't, live by their rules.
So how'd you know we weren't them?
Because there are no children in Crawford. Not anymore.
Molly explains that she is the one who's been operating the church bells, making them go off in certain areas so she can attract all the walkers so she can easily make a getaway when needed. And then right on time, a bunch of walkers show up and they all have to escape. So Molly does some sick-ass AC style parkour up this fire exit, helps get everybody else up, but Lee is stuck down at the bottom. And his only solution is to pry open a manhole cover and jump in. So now Lee is separated from the rest of the group in a bunch of underground sewers that, shocker, also have walkers in them. You have to turn a valve wheel to distract some walkers and then walk around in the sewers a little bit more. And then you have to turn another valve wheel. There's some, not crazy interesting or difficult gameplay here. It's pretty straightforward. You make your way through the sewers. Unfortunately, you find Chuck's remains. The walkers got to him, did a lot of stuff. Lee has to escape some other walkers again, and then once all of that's over, he finds a secret entrance behind a sign. He goes through and finds another group of survivors.
Who are you? I said, who are you?
This is one of the few scenes that has a pretty rare outcome if you stay completely silent, because the group is rightly spooked by your appearance, and when they ask you if you're from Crawford, if you say nothing and you do nothing, they will shoot you in the head, and rightly so, because you're freaking the fuck out of them. So say something. Silence is not always a valid option.
I'm sorry, friend. Can't take the risk.
You threatening me, old man? Because you're not gonna like how that goes. Put the fucking gun down before you really make me mad.
He's bluffing.
You think so? Try me.
Silence is not a valid option here, but Scumbag Lee sure is. I recently learned that when people do playthroughs of Walking Dead games, you can do a scumbag playthrough where you basically choose all the scuzziest, most antagonistic, most wrong or rude choices. And I am very excited to bring to you my playthrough of Scumbag Clementine in Season 2 of The Walking Dead, because it is objectively hilarious, and I have never laughed so much in such a grim game.
Whose baby is it?
Excuse me?
If it's not Alvin's, whose is it?
You shut your fucking mouth.
You should probably think about being nicer to me.
So we learn that this group is all made up of Crawford expats, people who were or are terminally ill and therefore were not seen as valuable within this fucked up society that gets rid of anybody they deem useless. The group says that Lee will never find his way out of the sewers without a guide, and then Vernon tells Lee that he is a doctor. Lee tells him that Omid needs medical attention, so Vernon agrees to guide Lee back to the house, where Krista is extremely relieved to find that a doctor is finally there. So, while Vernon is checking on Omid, Lee goes looking for Clementine, and along the way, he finds Kenny, who is getting shit-faced drunk.
Oh, hey, you made it back. Good job. Good job.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
What does it look like?
Where'd you get the bottle?
Found it. You want to throw down again like back on the train? Because I fight better when I'm shit-faced. What the hell you looking at?
Getting wasted's not gonna help anyone.
Lee does not approve. Me personally, I think the guy's going through something, mainly the death of his wife and child, and then depending on which version you chose, having to shoot another child in the face. So I personally wouldn't have anything against it, but I also do understand there's a lot going on, so Lee wants everyone to keep their heads. There's a really funny interaction here where Kenny hands the bottle to Ben, and then Ben is about to take a drink, and then he looks at Lee, and he decides not to. Now that is the true power of silence. Lee said nothing and Ben was like, you know what, maybe not. Lee can't find Clementine anywhere, so he goes outside where he hears some spooky noises coming from the shed, but it turns out it's just Clementine. Yay! At this point, it's very clear that Lee and Clementine are very close, which is why in my second playthrough, continuing to stay silent every time she said something only made me feel more and more like scumbag Lee. So here's me actually having a warm interaction with her when I finally find her.
Hey, girl.
Come look! Look what I found!
So in what is easily the biggest convenience to the plot in this game, they find a boat. Turns out they were just sitting on top of one the whole time. However, it's not that easy. It's not that cut and dry because after Kenny inspects it, he tells the gang that they have no gas, shocker, and that they need a new battery. Also, shocker. So the gang devises a plan to sneak into Crawford to get it. And Vernon is going to help them because he knows the sewers. And also because medical supplies. Literally everybody needs medical supplies and Crawford has a bunch. So the gang has decided they're officially going to do this. Clementine has secretly been listening in and she says that she needs to get ready to go. Huge decision for players here. Do you let Clementine come with you or not?
You said you'd need all of us to do this. And you said I'm a big help, remember? Can't I come with you?
No. I'm sorry. Okay, you can come, but you have to promise to stay quiet and do exactly what you're told the whole time we're there.
Okay, I'm gonna go get ready.
So through the sewers, the gang sneaks into Crawford and finds out very quickly that Crawford has just become a horde of walkers. In the words of Molly, what always happens ends up happening in the world that they live in. One person died, and then before you know it, everyone is a walker. So now they're trying to get supplies, not while sneaking around people, but while sneaking around a bunch of dangerous, deadly walkers. The group devises a plan to divide and conquer by finding batteries, medicine, and gas. If you decided to bring Clementine, Lee will tell her to stay behind, and there is, in my opinion, a really funny interaction where Lee is basically trying to reassure Clementine when she says, "What should I do?" And he says, "I need you to stay behind with Ben." And to an outsider, it would look like an adult trying to comfort a child by saying, "I need you to look after Ben," not the other way around. But we as the player know that he's actually being totally serious because Clementine really is being tasked with looking after Ben, and Lee isn't kidding when he says he's putting her in charge. Ben also uses this moment alone with Lee to ask him if he should tell Kenny about his actions and how it essentially got Katja and Duck killed. Master of bad timing, this guy. As if they don't have enough things to worry about, Ben is just like, should I also try and get Kenny to kill me? Is that what we as a group should be doing right now?
I can't do it anymore.
There'll come a time when he's ready to hear it, but it's not now. Not yet.
I hear you.
Do you though? Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Lee and Molly go to the auto shop where they find a car battery, but then some walkers come in, so they have to escape through the roof. Then Lee makes his way to the doctor's office where all of the meds are locked behind a safe. So there is a small puzzle here where you have to piece together 2 different tapes from recorded patient sessions. And this is where we learn what happened to Crawford.
I need you to brace yourself, Anna. The sonogram confirms that you're pregnant. As you know, the rules are very clear. The termination is mandatory.
When I say this place is fucked up, man. Whew. So this woman was pregnant, and as per the rules of Crawford, they were forcing her to terminate the pregnancy. So she killed that doctor. She literally stabbed him in the back. And honestly, good on her. As she put it, what is the point of living in a world where this is what you have to do to survive? And as we know, all it takes is one unaccounted for dead body for it to slowly become a thing. This is something I absolutely love about the Walking Dead universe, is that unlike the infection style of zombie stuff that has become so oversaturated in the last 20 years, Walking Dead goes for that traditional, once you die, you come back as a zombie. The one doctor was killed, he came back as a walker. Before you know it, everyone is a walker. We also learn from context clues here that Krista is in fact pregnant.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm fine. Why are you asking me that?
It's just that you've been looking a little pale the past couple of days. You've been throwing up.
Oh, come on. You just dug up a rotting dog carcass. I'm surprised we weren't all throwing up. Lee, I'm fine. Quit worrying about me, okay? Worry about Omid. We've got to get him these meds.
Lee finds Molly in the hallway where they get attacked by more walkers. I know I'm sounding repetitive here, but they get attacked by a lot of walkers in this episode. Bear with me. And if you don't shoot correctly, you will actually leave Molly behind and she will die. But if you manage to shoot the walkers in a timely fashion, you will help Molly get away. Now, everyone is trying to get through this one door to get the fuck out of there. And this is the time that Ben decides, no matter what advice you gave him, that he needs to tell Kenny that he's responsible for his whole family dying.
It's been me all along, putting all of us in danger. Katya and Duck, it was all me. It was all me.
Wait a minute. What are you saying?
It was me who made the deal with the bandits at the motor inn, slipping them supplies. I thought maybe I could keep them off our backs. When it got discovered, that's when they attacked. And that's when Duck...
You little pissant! You're fucking dead! You hear me? Dead! My wife and child! You got them both fucking killed!
Kenny wants to oust him from the group. Krista agrees with this. And if you chose to bring Clementine, she'll actually say, well, don't I get a vote? And she will be the only one who vouches for Ben.
Ben's nice. He's my friend. We don't leave friends behind. That's my vote.
And due to that, I must retract my statement. Instead of everybody hates Ben, I would like to amend my statement to everybody hates Ben, but Clementine, who doesn't have the full scope of the situation, but is good-hearted nonetheless. So they find a staircase up to the bell tower, and as you're going up it, you have to kill a bunch of walkers, and we get probably the most badass scene that you as the player, as Lee, get to do, killing walkers. This scene felt very satisfying. So they reach the top of the bell tower, and then the bell starts going off, and then a walker strung up by the bell grabs onto Ben. If you shoot the walker, Ben will start to fall, and Lee will hold on to him, and Ben, in an uncharacteristically brave move, tries to get Lee to let go so that he can save himself and the others. And players must choose whether to pull him up or let him go.
Go!
You can also fail to shoot the walker entirely, and Ben will fall to his death that way. After that, everyone goes back to the house where Krista is desperate to see Omid, and Clementine says that he fell asleep a while ago, and he hasn't really talked since. And just when it seems like all is at its worst...
Hey. Back already?
We got you medicine.
Good. Feel like I could use some.
Now, if you choose to let Ben die, Kenny will say this about what happened.
Dumb son of a bitch nearly got us all killed. Lee stepped up and did what he had to. That's what happened.
Which, of course, isn't really the truth and is very distorted by Kenny's perspective because of his anger with Ben. Before Vernon leaves, he will scold Lee for being a selfish leader, getting Bree killed, and then he offers a proposition to take in Clementine with his people who are secretly living underground, who he says have already had children and know how to keep her safe. Lee, of course, does not accept this offer, but Vernon says it's still on the table, and then he leaves. Then Lee rejoins with Clementine, who is asking after Ben, and in my second playthrough, where I let him die and also chose to be characteristically silent, I said nothing in this conversation, and it became a very genuinely heartbreaking moment in this game, especially with the main theme playing in the background, which hits so hard. You really feel for Clementine. You can only imagine what she must be going through.
It must have been bad if you don't want to talk about it. Before we leave tomorrow, will we have time to look for my parents?
I became attached to this score, to this piece of music so quickly in playing this game, and that's no accident. The theme is haunting and it's beautiful, and whenever I hear it or think about it, it always makes me think about Lee and Clementine. It is a shame they didn't carry it over into the second game. However, I do also understand the idea is this is really Clementine and Lee's song, which is why it makes you think of them. So I get it. I get why we don't have it. It's just, to me, since it was in the first game, it's the sound of the Walking Dead game to me. You know, when Lee wakes up, he finds Clementine missing. However, he does find her hat and her walkie-talkie abandoned on the ground. And when he picks up that walkie-talkie, he gets bit by a walker. I myself was very surprised by this, so when you immediately get the choice whether or not to tell the group, I gotta say that really caught me off guard.
What the hell is going on?
Whose blood is that?
It's mine.
Oh my god.
No way. No fucking way.
There's no time to worry about me. Clementine's gone.
There's no chance she just wandered off on her own?
Everyone agrees to go looking for Clementine except Kenny, and depending on how this conversation goes, he either will or won't join you on your search for her.
Lee, man, you know I care about Clementine, and I am a Christian man. And I keep asking myself, if this was me, asking you for help, asking you to put your life on the line, would you be there for me? Because there have been plenty of times when you ain't been.
You know what? Go fuck yourself. You gonna let a little girl die because I didn't have your back every damn minute? Maybe you should grow the fuck up. Do whatever you want, asshole.
Lee, I know you think you and me might have been on the same page a few times lately, but the way I see it, you've never really had my back. Right from the beginning, you were never looking out for me and mine. Not when it mattered. So pardon me if I'm not bending over backwards to help you and yours now.
Kenny, you know what Clementine means to me. She's my family now. She's all I got.
Hell, in the end, family's all that matters. And you were there for Katya and Duck when it mattered most, I guess. All right, I'm in.
They go back to the underground hideout to find out that everybody is gone. But you know who is there? Walkers. And just then, Clementine's walkie goes off, and whoever the fuck this is answers.
Hello, Lee.
Who is this?
It's not Vernon, if that's what you're thinking. And you should really watch your tone. Clementine's fine. But if I were you, I'd choose my next words very carefully.
Here I was very surprised to see a second screen of choices, the who came with you part, and showing that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different possible outcomes. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. Episode 4 has 8 different outcomes for a situation. If that's what we get in episode 4, I can't wait to see all the different ways that episode 5 could end. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. For some reason, episode 4 is the only episode that shows you a choice with 8 outcomes. Every other episode just shows you 1 choice card. Only episode 4 shows you 2, and the big choice is just who comes with you to Crawford. Gotta admit, I just don't really understand that one. It almost seems trivial and also just kind of got my hopes up for expectations of what kind of branching choices we might have in episode 5. Just kind of a bit random considering the other 4 episodes don't have a choice that branches off in 8 ways that it tells you of.
Vernon, get out here! There doesn't have to be any trouble here. All I want is the girl. Give her back and nobody needs to get hurt. Clementine, are you all right? Where are you? Vernon, you son of a bitch!
Dolly. You got your tongue? In case you haven't figured it out yet, this isn't Vernon. I guess you really don't care, do you? I had you all along.
Our final episode takes place immediately where episode 4 left off. The gang is in a panic now that they know that Clementine has been abducted by somebody who is definitely not Crawford, and someone who seemingly has it out for Lee. And don't forget, they're surrounded by walkers. Krista tells Lee to find an escape, so Lee has to use a rib cracker to open a door, which is very macabre. Keep in mind, they are in a morgue, so they don't really have other tools laying around. It's kind of fitting for the sort of world they live in. But as he's trying to open it, he suddenly passes out.
Christ! What the hell happened? It's the bite. Well, what can we do?
The gang concludes it is finally time to properly address Lee's bite, and that means the player having to decide whether to keep his arm or to lose it. If you choose to keep Lee's arm, he'll basically say, we'll deal with it when we deal with it, but I'm not going to risk dying of the blood loss. Makes a lot of sense. And if you agree to it, you are treated to a truly brutal sight.
Try to stay still! Fuck! Gotta tighten the tourniquet.
I really enjoy that this game didn't hold back with this scene, and the first time I played the game, I opted to keep my arm. The second time that I played it, I had kind of forgot that this was an option offered to you, so when I actually said, let's do it, and then they did it, I was like, oh my god, they did it! They took my arm! And for the entire rest of the game, you just have no arm. And this is the kind of stuff you want to see in episode 5 of a choice-based game. Now you're making the kind of choices that will really stick with you. You're literally going to see Lee walking around with his arm cut off for the entire rest of this episode. They make their trek to the top of the hospital, which includes climbing up an elevator shaft. Now, if you chose for Lee to keep his arm, this scene will be a bit easier, and if you didn't, then he will have to manage with only one arm, which makes the controls a tiny bit harder. It's not really a big difference. It's more about the idea of the impact of the thing, right? You cut off your own arm, and then in the very next scene, you have to climb a ladder. They make it to the top of the hospital where they can see all of the city is just overrun with walkers. Whether it's the Crawford walkers that got out, other walkers that came to the city, things are really coming to a head. So the gang decides what they're going to do is ring the bell tower to distract all the walkers so they can make a getaway back to the house. There is also a really small moment here between Lee and Krista that shows Krista and Omid really do feel like part of the group.
I was thinking you and Omid wouldn't come with me.
We can't stop looking out for each other.
You two have been solid since day one.
What's this, day 3? 4?
Well, I appreciate it.
Like I said, they're not massive characters in this, and I do think they're a little personality deprived. I definitely think we could have dedicated more time towards telling us about each of them and why they're such valuable members of the group. But this small moment between them is something. Lee volunteers to go across to the bell tower because, as he says, he has the least amount to lose. He almost falls, but then he makes it okay. He rings the bell. He almost falls again, but he makes it back over okay. And they go back to the house. Now, depending on your choices in episode 4, who's here doing what in this scene is going to be different. At the end of episode 4, if you told Kenny to go fuck himself, then he won't have come to the hospital. So when you come back, he'll be inside the shed freaking out that the boat is gone.
What the fuck?
They fucked us!
What? Who?
Vernon. He didn't have Clem. So where the fuck is she?
With someone else. We're going after her.
Fuck.
If Kenny did come with you, then Ben will be in the shed freaking out that the boat is gone. Whoever it is, they'll say that the cancer group from the morgue came and stole Clementine, and Kenny is, of course, distraught. Now, if you choose the version where Ben got left behind, Kenny will take things out on Ben.
Where the hell do you get off?
I'm just saying we should all chill. Not just you.
Chill? Bandits? Hey, chill. Here's some pills. Vernon, chill! Here's our fucking boat!
This isn't my fault.
And in a rare moment of spine, Ben will not only stand up for himself, but fully put Kenny in his place.
Fuck you, Kenny! I am so sorry about Katya and Duck. I am! And I know I fucked up. But stop pushing me around and stop wishing I was dead! No! You know how they die. You said goodbye. I never got to see my family, my parents, my little sister. Do you get that? Your family is gone, but at least you had them to lose.
Oh, Ben,
Oh shit! Here they come!
And if you chose the version where Kenny went to the hospital with you, Kenny will take things out on Krista and Omid.
Well, I know you two are just gonna look out for number 1. And number 2, yourselves.
It's not like that, man.
Bullshit, it's not.
Don't engage him, Omid.
There's other shit at play, all right?
What, you got the boat hidden somewhere?
Shut up, dude.
Watch your mouth.
I get it, Kenny. You really, really wanted a boat, and now you don't have a boat, so in all versions of all timelines, you gotta be pissed at somebody about it. Anyone except, like maybe the group who came and stole the boat. A bunch of walkers break in, Lee chops off a lot of arms, the group makes their last stand.
How many bullets y'all have?
3.
5.
4.
You don't know where to aim.
I'm out!
Me too!
Fuck! Where do we go?
And then escapes to the attic, where Omid tries to lighten the tension, but it ain't working.
Anyone have any ideas?
I bet this guy would. He's got a resourceful air about him.
Knock it off.
Dixon Kent III. Industrial...
Mead?
Krista. Just trying to lighten the fucking tone.
We need solutions, not stupid jokes. I'm sorry.
Just then, Clementine calls on the walkie-talkie.
I'm okay. I'm where my parents... No!
What did that mean?
She's at the hotel.
And if you chose not to cut off your arm, you will actually pass out and then wake up to Clementine on the walkie-talkie. It's a very interesting little variation that not maybe everybody would pick up on, basically showing that because Lee didn't get his arm cut off, that the infection, you could say, is setting in faster. I will say I find it kind of unclear what the rules are of infection and then becoming a walker, because you have to die to become a walker. Just getting bit on the arm, I don't exactly understand the reasoning of how a bite on your arm kills you and then makes you come back as a walker. That to me would suggest an infection. I'm not going to think too deeply about it though, because it's zombie stuff, and zombie stuff, is impossible by design. Kenny floats the idea of doing something about Lee's condition.
We could be looking at a Larry situation here.
Who's Larry?
It don't matter.
He looks fine to me.
Guys, I don't know what happened before Omid and I showed up, but we can cross this bridge when we get to it.
Lee, I'm not advocating anything here, but how is this not a thing? We will get Clementine back, with or without you, because I haven't given up everything to die because we were stupid.
but thankfully he just ends up throwing a bust against the wall, and it actually opens a hole, and they realize that because the house is a duplex, they can actually get through to the other side. So while Omid is trying to batter through the door, Lee and Kenny enjoy a nice drink, and Krista actually drinks too. And you can tell by Kenny's reaction that he knows what's up. Omid successfully breaks through to the next room, and here in this bedroom is a very rare Easter egg that Dom the Bomb pointed out in this video.
If you end up talking to Kenny 3 times during the Season 1 Episode 5 scene after clearing out through the house and the fight with Lee and Kenny, Lee will make a reference to Randy Tudor, who is one of the lead programmers of The Walking Dead Season 1.
Let's just keep going. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Let's just keep going. Don't ask me how I'm doing.
Randy Tudor. Good man. Damn fine man. Powerful stash. One of the greats.
I love when developers put stuff like this in a game because you're so unlikely to find it, so it feels really fun and rewarding when you experience it. The gang jumps from the balcony of this room over to the next rooftop, but if Ben is still alive in your game, he will trip and fall here. Lee and Kenny will head down there to try and pick him up, but unfortunately his wounds are too grave and the walkers are closing in. So Kenny tells Lee to get out of there. Kenny does the brave thing and buys time for Lee, sacrificing his life in the process. I know people may have very mixed feelings about Kenny, but I do think that he does have some pretty positive qualities. And I do think this variation of him doing this shows some of those more altruistic intentions that he may ultimately have. Not always, but yes, sometimes when it really counts. Same goes for this alternate version if Ben is already dead, where Kenny will accidentally knock the walkie-talkie into this room below them, so Krista will drop down to try and get it and then get stuck. And without hesitating, Kenny will drop down and lift her up just as a horde of walkers are coming at him. Same way that it did with Ben. And as far as we know, in this situation, and in the one with Ben, Kenny is devoured by walkers, bravely sacrificing himself for the betterment of the group. Lee, Krista, and Omid reach the hotel, and players have to choose whether to send Lee first to try and walk across this sign to the other rooftop, or to have Omid go first. If you choose to have Lee go first, he'll get all the way to the end until the strut breaks and he will fall to the ground. If you choose not to do anything at all when asked to descend, like I did, Krista will suggest Omid. Omid will actually make it all of the way across, but then when Krista is crossing, the sign falls apart. So now Lee is on the opposite rooftop of the two of them. So he does the only thing that he can. He climbs down the sign and he gets in there. Before Lee is a horde, a whole crowd of walkers, and on the other side of the street is the hotel. So this man does what he has to do. And again, we are treated to one of the most badass moments in this whole game. This sequence is fucking awesome. Lee walks the empty hallways until he finds the right room, where he comes across this contraption sealing 2 doors together with a rope, and then he gets interrupted by this guy.
I got us adjoining rooms. You must be tired. You look horrible. And you're missing an arm. Go over there.
So this is the man who has taken Clem. This is the man who has been talking to them through the walkie-talkie for the majority of this game. And boy, does he have a story to tell. You may not have been able to tell by my tone, but I was being a little sarcastic there. He has a tale to tell. The Stranger, which is his official title, by the way, we never learn his name, tells Lee to put his weapons down and then to sit, where he then asks if he knows who he is.
No, I don't know anything about you.
You wouldn't. People like you don't. Now you're thinking, who would have it out for me, huh? A few weeks back, there might have been a station wagon in the forest, full of all sorts of food, water, things you need to survive.
All right, so remember all the way back in episode 2 when you came across that car that was on, so clearly it hadn't been left alone for long, and you were given the option whether or not to steal from it. So if you did steal from it, the Stranger, who we now know it was his car, will call you out on it. And if you're a player who made that decision, you may very well feel a twinge of guilt.
Yeah, I'm not some cannibal, Lee. Some killer out in the woods. Some villain. I'm just a dad. I coach Little League.
Everything was just out there for the taking. We were starving.
For the taking? Do you know what you took from me?
Oh no, if it isn't the repercussions of my own actions, right? However, in my first playthrough, I didn't steal from the car. So when this guy was still pissed at me, I was kind of like, huh? And I gotta say, his reasoning isn't exactly great.
My son Adam went missing. I took him out hunting even though my wife said he was too young. I figured he had to learn. I came back without him, and the look on her face said, "You are a monster." We never found him. I hurt her so bad. Then you took all of our things. You robbed us. I could have earned her trust back, Lee, but not after that.
Now, this is something that really threw me for a loop, because this is the end of the game, and I had been wondering the whole time who's on the other end of this walkie, but I also knew it couldn't have really been anyone we know, because everyone we've met in this story is either already dead or totally insignificant. So while I wasn't surprised to find out the Stranger was, in fact, a stranger, the idea of him starting this whole sort of crusade against Lee coming from his group stealing stuff from the car, in my opinion, really only works if you stole from the car. Now, I had pretty mixed feelings about this, and I needed to take the temperature of what other players thought too. So on my YouTube page, I asked you, the viewers, how you all thought about this scenario, and I got a pretty fascinating number of mixed responses. Some people said they agreed that it felt random, especially because they had chosen not to steal from the car. Others said they still appreciated it, even though the payoff felt a little wonky. Some folks said they thought it was a bad contrived setup and that it just serves as another random foil to Lee and doesn't really have any true meaning behind it. One person said they thought he was the most interesting antagonist in the series because he's not a tyrannical leader, he's not unrealistic, he's just a father who lost everything and is now out of control. Kind of relatable because in a way, Kenny could have gone that route, but he didn't. Whatever your feelings are, this man has Clementine trapped in the other room. So you're going to want to choose your words carefully because you're trying to get Clementine out of there. That being said, you can also choose to confess that you've been bitten because the Stranger says that Clementine is his now and he's going to take care of her. He's basically trying to replace his family, and you can actually go along with it for a minute.
You'll take care of her?
We'll give her a home.
Why are you saying we?
Hey, honey. I think this is all gonna work out.
What are you...
I'm glad too.
That's right, the guy's talking to his wife's severed head. So true, he's not some big, crazy, evil antagonist, but he is clearly out of his gourd. And now that the stranger is distracted in his conversation with you, Clementine will start to sneak up, and you have to choose which object to have Clementine grab so that she can knock him on the noggin. And when she does, this kerfuffle will ensue, and you, as Lee, have to strangle the stranger, and Lee will almost strangle him completely to death, but then the stranger will get the upper hand, and the stranger will almost strangle him to death. It's a whole strangle fest. But thankfully Clem, who you taught how to use a gun, shoots him in the head.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm so sorry, Lee. I did bad.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry, Clem. We need to get you somewhere safe. And then we have to talk, okay?
Yeah.
Everything's okay now. We need to figure out how to get out of Savannah as fast as we can.
Clementine and Lee are finally reunited and they're ready to get out of there. But just as Lee opens the door, a walker appears in front of them. But he doesn't seem to sense Lee. And that's when Lee realizes if you're covered in the blood and the guts of a walker, they cannot detect you. This also appeared in the TV show, and I remember it being a gruesome sight and also kind of a brilliant idea in the show. And I like seeing it translated here. It is also a thoroughly macabre moment in this game right at the end, for Lee to have to grab a bunch of walker guts and cover this little girl in it. What a stark image. Can't think of many other games where you get treated to moments like this, right? So as Lee and Clementine are leaving the hotel, going through this horde of walkers, Clementine sees a terrible sight. Lee wakes up to find that Clementine has dragged him into a room, but they're only safe for the time being. They try to lift up the sliding door, but Lee is too weak. This is where he also confesses to Clementine that he's been bitten and he doesn't have a lot of time. They see in the other room there is a security guard who has both keys and handcuffs. So with what will Lee has left, he instructs Clementine to go and grab these. Once she returns with the handcuffs, Lee has a gut-wrenching request.
Put the handcuffs on me. Attach me to this.
What? Why?
No matter what happens, you're safe then.
I don't know.
Just do it, sweetie. Make sure they're tight.
I don't want to do this.
You have to. It'll keep you safe. We have to deal with him.
When Clementine goes back for the gun, the walker comes alive, a struggle ensues, and Lee is temporarily knocked out. When he wakes up, the only thing that he can do is use his feet to slide the bat over to Clem, who has to bash in this walker's head.
I did it. I got him.
When Clementine kneels back in front of Lee, the look on his face is all we, the audience, need to know to understand what is happening here. And so, folks, I present to you the heartbreaking conclusion of The Walking Dead game, Season 1.
My parents. It's so horrible.
I can't imagine, sweet pea.
And now, you? Please. Please don't be one of them. Please don't become a walker.
There's only one thing you can do.
I don't know if I can.
You can leave me. It's okay.
You'll be just like them.
It's okay. It won't be me.
Please.
Clem, it's time to go. You gotta get out of here.
You can come with me.
No, honey, I can't. It's okay.
Please.
You have to go now.
Don't go.
You have to shoot me, honey.
Lee, no.
Find Omid and Krista. They're probably looking for us right now. Stay on high ground. Don't go too far. You'll find them. I'll miss you.
Me too.
In an increasingly overcrowded landscape of half-effort, choice-based narratives that offer little in the way of impactful decisions, Telltale's The Walking Dead remains a pillar of the very genre it helped transform into the behemoth that it is today. Its incisive writing, deeply human character work, genuinely consequential branching paths, and heartfelt, gut-wrenching finale continue to haunt players to this day, a specter looming over a landscape littered with pale imitations. Thank you so much for joining me in this review of The Walking Dead game Season 1. This is a series that was suggested to me by you, the viewers, and I cannot thank you enough for turning me on to Telltale Games. This is the first in an entire retrospective I'm going to do on all 4 games and all 3 DLCs. So, over the course of the year, you have that to look forward to. In the meantime, we're also going to explore some shorter games peppered in between some of the long reviews. Until then, I hope you have some fun, I hope you get some rest, and I will see you all very soon.